Hello, students. Now we will see the next part, that is research design. This is the most important part of any research project or any research problem. So you can see the cartoon, that what the cartoon is saying in the cartoon, that a student is showing his experimental design to the guide, and the guide is saying that there is a flaw in your experimental design. All the mice are Scorpios. So whatever design he prepared, he wrote all the characteristics by keeping in mind that those are mice, but he wrote it in such a way that it is showing all the characteristics of Scorpios. So this is the best example of bad experimental design. Now, what is the meaning of research design? Preparation of the design of research project, which is, you can say that it is the research design. But whenever you are doing this research design, at that time it is very important that you have to ask these questions, that is what, where, when, how much, and by what means. So whenever you are asking these questions for a particular problem, your research design will automatically get ready. So that's why these questions are very important. And a good research design generally refers to overall strategy or overall plan of your research problem, which integrate with the different components of the study in a coherent and logical way, and it always ensures, so good research design will always ensure the uh, effective solution of a particular research problem. So if your research design is proper, definitely you are going to get a good research solution. Now, it is also called as research design, can also be said that it is the conceptual structure within which the research is conducted. In a sense, it is a plan, it is an outline of your research work, and you are going to do whatever research problem you have uh, considered. Of that, you have prepared a proper outline, and all your research will be conducted within that outline only. So it can also be said that it is a blueprint of collection, measurement, and analysis of the data. In a sense, whenever you are planning a research design, in that you are going to add all these measures, that is how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to do the sampling, what data is going to create it, how you are going to analyze the data. All this is always there, or or all it is always there in a good research design. So it is called as blueprint. Blueprint is the plan. So if you remember that on a trace paper, they generally draw it with a blue ink, and that is the whole plan of a particular building or whatever mall, and that is called as blueprint. Blueprint means exactly in that way that particular building or that particular mall or whatever is going to get constructed. So in the same way here, research design is a blueprint of your research problem, because exactly in the same way you are going to follow all the methods or sampling procedures, techniques, and you are going to get the data what you are expecting in the same way. So this research design includes, as I said, it is outline of your plan, and generally it will go. So whatever research problem you are doing, it has to go with the hypothesis which you have made. We have seen what is hypothesis. So for every research problem, you are going to make one hypothesis, and your research problem should go with the hypothesis. It should not be research design should go with your hypothesis. It should not be like that, that research problem design is saying something and your hypothesis is something else. Then whenever you are going to prepare a research design, these are the questions you should ask always. So what is the study about? So suppose you have selected one problem. So what is the study you are going to study in this particular problem? For example, I want to work on antibiotic production by a particular bacteria. Now you all know antibiotics, you all know what are microbes. So I want to study that a particular bacteria is going to produce an antibiotic or not. So what will be my problem? That this particular bacteria is producing antibiotic or the production of antibiotic from, for example, Pseudomonas species. Then why is the study being made? Now, why I'm studying this? If this study has been done already, then why I'm studying it? So what here I'm going to find it out whether my study is novel and it is not yet done till date, right? So how I'm going to do this? Where will be the where the study will be carried out? The study will be carried out in my laboratory, or I may need to carry out in the field also, because if I want to see whether the antibiotic produced is against plant pathogens, so I may need to go to the field and sow the seeds and find it out whether it is really working well even in the natural conditions. So then what type of data is required now? If I want to study that production of antibiotic from Pseudomonas species, what kind of data I'm required? So I required that till date, how many organisms are studied for antibiotic production, right? Then I need to find it out which types of antibiotics they produced. Then this all data I need to collect. Now, where can where can the required data be found? Obviously, in the literature, I need to do a thorough literature survey where I could get all the information that how many organisms are studied till date, whether my species which I have selected is studied or not, from which sampling site they have studied, and what is my sampling site, right? Then which methods I'm going to use to study these antibiotic production methods as well as testing methods, right? All this data I need to find from the internet, or in the internet in the sense from the literature. Now, what periods of time will the study include? So do I need to do this study at a particular time? Because if I'm studying its effect on a plant, then that particular plant, suppose wheat, then wheat will be grown in a particular months only. So I need to consider that. So that time limit also I need to include. Then what will be the sample design? From where I'm going to isolate that particular organism? I'm going to isolate it from soil, suppose. Then how many, suppose a field is there, then how I'm going to, from which part of the field I'm going to collect the soil? I'm going to take one soil sample, or how many soil samples I'm going to study and find it out that whether that bacteria is present in that soil or not. Then what techniques of the data collection will be used? Am I going to use statistics, or what type of data I'm going to collect, and how I'm going to analyze with the help of statistics, or by the means of different analytical techniques? Then in what style will the report be prepared? So how I'm going to prepare the report, whether it is in the form of thesis, or in the form of publication, or it is in the form of research paper or review article. Mostly research paper. Once you do all this research, you will be able to write a research paper, or I'm going to submit it as a thesis. So if I answer all these questions, then it is 1 to 10 questions, then it is very sure that whatever research design I'm going to prepare as per these questions will be the best research design. Now, the overall research design can split into following parts, that is the sampling design, then observational design, then statistical design, and operational design. So research design can be divided into 4 parts: sampling, observational, statistical, and operational design. So in sampling, generally, it means the method of selecting atoms to be observed for a given study. It means selecting the group that you will actually collect the data from. Means you are going to consider one particular group or one particular population as a group, and you are going to study that particular population, but you cannot study the whole population. From that, you are going to select few individuals and make a group of them and study them. That can be a sample. For example, I want to find it out whether employees which are working in my company, are they satisfied with the salary or not, or are they satisfied with the joy or not? What is their happiness index? So suppose there are 1500 employees are there in my company. So randomly I will number them, and randomly I will select 150 people for my study, and that will make my sample for the study. And that is what is called as sample design. The next is called as observational design. So where generally the observation is done and accordingly the design is prepared. So for example, consider that someone is very busy. Someone is busy on street of New York, asking in the neighborhood that how randomly that whatever peoples are passing through the on the road, that person is asking that how many pets you have, and collecting the data, gathering the data, or observing the data that, oh, this particular person is having 2 pets. Okay, this is having 1 pet, because they are having their pets with them. So he will observe that how many pets are there, and accordingly he or she can decide that how many pet food stores must be there in that particular area. So that is observation. One person is having 2 pets, another is having 3 pets, one is having only one. How many are having one? How many are having two? How many are having three? And accordingly, how many total pets are there in that particular area? For example, in Shivaji Nagar, how many pets are there? So what I have to do, I have to just find it out that how many people are daily taking their pets for a round, and accordingly I have to collect the data, and accordingly I have to decide that how many pet food stores should be in that particular area. The next is statistical design, in which generally it is observed that the question that how many items to be observed. Now we have seen the observed design. Here the question will be how many are observed and how the information and data is gathered to be analyzed. Now he has collected all the data, but that data needs to, whatever he observed, how many pets are there, he observed, but then that data needs to get analyzed properly, whether whatever data he has with him regarding pets, is it statistically correct, is it statistically significant. That can be done with the statistical design. And the last one, that is operational design, where you can see that a particular sampling procedure is defined, or the technique by which the procedures are specified in that sampling, statistical and observational design. So for a particular sampling, I have decided that this sampling method is correct, this statistical design is correct, this observational design is correct, and all this in combination, when I'm identifying it, when I'm trying to find out whether everything is correct, whether everything will go at right place, that will create the operational design. Because this operational designing is generally the summary of all these designs. Now, we can state the important features of the research design as under. So, a good research design specifies the plan of the plan, source, and type of the information. It also specifies the strategy and the approach of that particular strategy for gathering and analyzing the data. And the most importantly, everywhere you will find this, that it also includes time and cost budget, because this particular research design, is it possible in 3 years of time or 4 years of time to finish? Then whether whatever cost is required to do this research, is it feasible or not? This all idea will be given by the research design. So whenever a research design has to be done, or you are going to prepare that research design, it must contain a clear statement of the problem, that what problem is there and what solution you are going to give. Then it must clearly tell what procedure and techniques you are going to use, because you are going to gather all this information and going to add it into your research design. and accordingly you are going to perform it. That is the most important part. And then the population, which population you are going to study, and methods which you are going to use and analyze. So all this must be there, or it must be the integral part of your research design. Then what is the need of research design? Why we need to do the research design? Research design is needed to facilitate the smooth selling of your discovery or your research operation or your research project. So whenever there is maximal information with minimal expenditure of effort, time and money, you need to do, or you need to consider. At that time, it is very important that you must have a very good research design, because research design is going to give you maximum information. It is going to reduce your effort, time and money, because everything is already planned. You have to just do it, right? So the research design generally, you can say that it is the advanced planning of the methods which you are going to use, the techniques which you are going to use, and obviously it is going to tell you that within how much time period you could able to complete your discovery journey, right? And how much money you may need to spend, because there are few methods, there are few things on which you need to spend your money also. So that all idea you can just get by doing a great research design. And whenever you want to prepare a research design, it must be done with utmost care, I must say. So the main component of this research design is the reliability of the result. In a sense, whenever your research design is correct, proper, appropriate, definitely you're going to get a good and reliable result, perfect results. Even if you are going to get negative results, you can firmly say that this will not happen, means not happen. Why? Because your research design is so perfect. You have followed exactly all the methods, all the techniques, the way you have given in the research design, and you are getting this result. So your results are always reliable. And then whenever you are going to prepare a thoughtless research design, at that time it will be just I must say that it is a hopeless or useless thing, and it is going, you are going to just render to find the solutions for research, different research problems. No good research exercise you could able to do, because if you do good research exercise, then your research design will be the correct design and you will prepare the best design. But if you will not do even appropriate literature search, without that you cannot go for the good research design. If you could not able to do that, then you are going to face problems with your efforts, because you need to do lot many efforts. Your time will get consumed like anything, and of course you will waste your money too, because it is not properly done. Then the good research helps you to keep away the flaws and inadequacies, so that you could do the proper research and in a very efficient way. It is always advisable that whenever you prepare a research design, show it to some expert, show it to your friends, show it to your not only to your guide, other guides also which are present in your department, because they will critically evaluate it. They will give critical comments, and as much as critical comments you will get, your research design will get refined in that way. So it is very, very important that whenever you prepare a research design, you need to get it evaluated critically. Now, in PhD, whenever you prepare a research design in a synopsis or pre-PhD synopsis or pre-PhD viva, there you just you need just to approve your title and plan. You need to give the presentation in front of experts, and their very critical evaluation can occur, and you get good suggestions, and accordingly there at that step only you can change your design as per the suggestions. And if you could able to do that, if you get good critical evaluation, definitely within next 4 to 5 years or 3 to 4 years, your research will go very smoothly and you could able to get it done very easily. Now, what are the features of good design? Good design is always minimizes bias and maximizes reliability. Biasness in the perspective that you know that this is in that way and you will go in that way. No, it requires the proof. So maximize the reliability in the sense how the reliability will come. You need to do lot of experiments. You need to observe. You need to study it hard, do analysis, and then you are going to get the reliable data. So that will be more in the good design of research experiments. So, or research design. So you will design your research in such a way that it will have more and more experiential work so that it could give you reliable data. The smallest and this at the same time, the good research design will have smallest experimental error. So that can be the best design, you can say. No, not much experimental error should be there. Then best, again, the best or perfect or appropriate research design always have maximal information. So whenever you are seeing the research design, you are getting that what type of methods they are going to use, what techniques they are going to use, how they are going to do the sampling, what data, what results they are expecting. Everything is very clear. So maximum information is there. And at the same time, it also provides the opportunity for considering many different aspects of the problem. Not only one aspect is considered, right? All other aspects are also considered, though you will not be able to study every aspect in detail, but at least superficially you must able to touch and focus on one or two more aspects in more detail. But there is always chance or opportunity that there are different aspects are there for this particular problem and you are aware about it. That is the most appropriate and efficient design of the good research design, I can say. Then your good research design must go with the purpose or objective of the research. It should not be in such a way that the research designing is saying something else and the problem is on something else. Problem hai indole acetic acid वर and the research design is based upon only PGPR and all other aspects, siderophore production or some all other production, and only very less weightage is given to indole acetic acid. It should not be like that. So always it should be in such a way that whatever, if I want to work indole acetic acid production or antibiotic production from a particular bacteria, that will be the biggest aspect of the research design, because that is what is my objective, and related to that will be there. As I said, that different aspects should be there, but the main focus should be as per the objective. Then always remember that one single design cannot serve the purpose of all types of research design. So every research problem is different, and accordingly for every single research problem you need to prepare different designs. So for each research problem you have to prepare a new good research problem, because once you prepare this particular research problem is there, okay, this is also related, this is also one of the aspect of the same research problem, so I can take exactly the same design. It is not allowed, or it is not going to give you the good research design. You have to again change the perspective and prepare new research design, which will be then proved, which will can prove then that it is a good research design. Then factors which are involved in appropriate research design are the means of obtaining information. In a sense, whenever your research design is good, it will definitely give you good information. It will definitely tell you about the availability and skill of the researcher. So whether you could able to do these particular techniques or whatever, a survey or a data collection, could you able to do? Does the sample available for doing that? And whether the researcher is having that skill or not, that will be definitely focused, or that will be definitely you could able to understand by seeing the research design. Or if you are doing a research design, you could incorporate into that. Then the objective of the problem should be studied. So whenever a research, appropriate research design will definitely focus on the objective of the problem. It will also focus on the nature of the problem, what type of problem is, how it is socially going to affect, whether it has any application or not. All those aspects will be considered when, or you have to consider when you are preparing the research design. And again, the time and money, you should always consider this whenever you are preparing a research design. Now, if a research study is an exploratory or formulative, in a sense, whether it is some idea, discovery, or insight, exploratory or formulative means it should be on based on ideas or insight. So if this kind of research design is there, you must prepare it in a flexible way. You must give some flexibility, because there are different many aspects will be there for that particular idea or insight or a phenomenon, and related to that many different phenomenons are taking place. So maybe when you are preparing the research design, you are not aware of it, but as you go deep into that particular idea, into that insight, you will be able to know, oh, that it is not in this way, there is one more related phenomenon to also there. And if you make it rigid, then it will be difficult for you to go into that particular phenomenon or that particular aspect. So it should be always flexible. While when you are doing accurate description of a situation or association between accurate variables, or you have taken only these particular focused variables, which generally comes under descriptive studies, then your research design must minimizes the bias, because here you are not going to expect anything, or prospective, you are not going to make it biased that yes, this should be in this way. No, here you have to do the experiment and maximizes the reliability. It means you have to prove it that it must be in this way, because I'm having this proof, I have done this experiment. So this is in case of descriptive studies. So whenever you are doing descriptive studies, your research design must be in that way, right? It should be more focused, more specific. And whenever you are preparing research design for testing of an hypothesis, where generally the relationship between the variables will be studied. So again, there should be also the design should be also in such a way that it minimizes the bias and maximizes the reliability, because there you have to test the hypothesis, and that hypothesis testing can be done only and only by reliability. And how the reliability will come? By doing the data analysis. How you will do the data analysis? You need to prove it before. How you will do it? By doing lot many experiments or collecting the proofs. Now, in practice, the most difficult task is to put a particular study in this. Means it is not like that you can only do the descriptive or formulative research and or exploratory or formulative research, and you are not going to touch to descriptive study. It is not possible. Many times you are going to do all it together, but generally you categorize it in this way, on the basis of actually primary functions. So whatever primary functions are there, on basis of that you are just categorizing them. It is an exploratory or descriptive. So and besides that, whenever you are doing this research design, you have to always consider your availability of time, money, skill, and the most important another information which you are collecting, that is literature search actually. And this also must be given the weightage. And with that, the most important part, that is experimental design, survey design, or sample design, and related to that, that is methods and all. That all is actually important when you are studying the research design. Now, there are a few important concepts which are related to the research design. One is dependent and independent variable. So the first is, what is the dependent? We have previously also seen what is dependable variable and independent variable. So the concept that can take on different quantitative values are called as variable. So first, variable means it should take on different quantitative values. So such now what are quantitative values? Quantitative values which are called as variable. Now what are these variable? It means those variables can be countable. So for example, weight, height, income, then mass, temperature, distance, energy, speed, length. These all are the examples of the variable. While there one more sub branch into this variable is also there, that is the phenomenon which can take on quantitatively different values even in decimal points. Now these values, those you can even count in decimal. So height is getting increased, suppose in this week 4, in next month it is 4.2. So those decimals also you must able to count. And whenever you are counting those decimals, it is called as continuous variables. Now, like quantitative, there is qualitative phenomena is also there, which is based on either presence or absence of a particular attribute. So these variables are not continuous, and they are called as discrete variables in the language of statistics. So and they are always expressed in integer values. For example, number of children in the family. So always you have to say there are either one number of children, two number of 3, 4, 5, not 1.2, 1.3. You cannot say that. So these are, whenever discrete values are there, that is generally the qualitative phenomenon. And whenever continuous variables are there, that is the quantitative phenomenon. So as you all know, we need to stop it here. I hope you're getting whatever I'm trying to tell you. So just I will complete this variable. Now, if the variable depends upon or a consequence of other variable, it is termed as dependent variable. Now, when variable is dependent, it is called as dependent variable. When variable is not dependent, it is called as independent variable. Now, example of dependent variable is, for example, if we say height depends upon weight, it means height is a dependent, and height depends upon age, where height is dependent and age is independent, because age is not dependent on the height, but height is dependent on the age. Further, we can also add up in that age, height also depends upon the individual sex. So where again the height is dependent on age and sex. So two independent variables will be there. Now similarly, for example, you prepare rotis from 2 kgs of wheat. Now where wheat is independent variable, because whatever wheat is there, right? On basis of which how many numbers of rotis you can prepare. So number of rotis are dependent variable. So dependent variables are generally, you can say the behavior. Another example is behavioral changes. Now why behavioral changes are there, or behavior or some diseases are getting spread into the environment? Why? Because there is environmental manipulation. So where the environmental manipulations are not dependent, those are independent, but behavioral diseases or changes are the dependable variable. So let's stop here. Take care. Bye bye.